Welcome to the channel for you.
Some of those people are probably paying out hundreds of dollars in gym membership fees at this very moment, and if you can show them how they can get exactly the same exercise benefits for free, then they are more than likely to take you up on your challenge. 10. Forget the elevator. Many people, especially those who live in congested cities, work in office tower blocks. They use the elevator every day of their lives to get from the ground to whatever floor their office is on. Still others use elevators in department stores, apartment towers and so on. Forget the elevator and take the stairs, because climbing stairs is one of the most effective forms of aerobic exercise that you can ever do. This was clearly proven by a British study some 10 years ago, when researchers discovered that for averagely sedentary people, just a few minutes climbing the stairs every day demonstrably improved their cardiovascular health. This study was of particular interest because it supported the idea that taking several short spurts of exercise every day will make a significant difference to your health, hence the idea that you can walk for 10 minutes a day 3 times, rather than just one 30-minute session. The study required 20 college-aged women who lived relatively sedentary lives to climb up 200 steps in less than 2.5 minutes. This represented a brisk but comfortable pace according to the researchers conducting the study, but the first time that they did it, it nevertheless served to shoot the test subjects' heart rates up to around 90% of the anticipated maximum heart rate. Despite this, the test subjects moved from making 1 climb per day during the first week to 6 per day in the 6th and 7th weeks. This therefore meant that the test subjects were climbing stairs for around 13.5 minutes per day by the conclusion of the test, which, in case the point is not clear, represents less than a quarter of an hour of reasonably rigorous exercise every day. By the end of this relatively modest and completely free exercise program, the women being tested were measurably fitter than they had been before. Every indicator had improved significantly. Their heart rate immediately after the climb had decreased markedly and their breathing had slowed as well, indicating that they needed to take in less oxygen to fuel their efforts. On the other hand, their HDL levels had increased, which is a good thing, because high-density lipoprotein is also sometimes known as good cholesterol. High levels of HDL in the blood seem to play a role in reducing the risk of heart attack, while low levels seem to do the opposite by increasing the risk of heart disease. 11. It is clear just how effective climbing the stairs can be as exercise, and it is even more so if you take the stairs that you are climbing 2 at a time. This significantly increases the work that your leg muscles have to do, and that in itself increases the aerobic effects of your exercise by a noticeable degree. This all goes to prove one thing. You do not have to exercise for hours at a time to enjoy the benefits that a workout will bring. Less than 15 minutes of stair climbing a day will improve your overall aerobic health significantly, and will cost you nothing at all. So, the next time you go to the office or the department store and feel tempted to get into a packed, hot and sweaty elevator, think about it for a moment. Does that really seem like a better option than giving your whole body a good workout? 12. Working out in the house and garden. In the final analysis, exercise is nothing more than making your body work, burning energy using your muscles in order to achieve certain objectives that you set yourself. In times gone by, when physical labor was much more common and important, man did not really need to worry about what is essentially an artificial requirement as a way of burning off energy. Nowadays, the general Western lifestyle involves very little work-based physical labor, hence the need to think of ways to exercise. Running a house and home does require work and effort, however, and so, whether you realize it or not, you are exercising every time you attempt any kind of task around the house. For example, many women would find using the vacuum cleaner and dusting the house to be a tedious and tiresome chore. Cleaning the windows, ironing and doing the washing up would probably not come high on the list of enjoyable pastimes either. Yet all these activities represent exercise that you do not even know you are doing, as evidenced by the fact that 15 minutes of vacuuming and dusting will burn an extra 40 kilocalories for a 40-year-old woman who weighs 78 kilos and is 165 centimeters tall. That is not a massive amount, but it does indicate that work is being done, and therefore exercise of a sort is being taken, even without realizing it. Mowing the lawn, digging in the garden and pulling up the weeds will have a similarly beneficial effect, with 15 minutes of doing this kind of activity burning off over 50 calories for the same lady. Given that, gardening is an activity that many people enjoy and spend many hours involved in, there is the potential here for a serious workout. I would suspect that most people would never consider this to be exercise, so that makes it far easier to do. Is the car dirty? If so, forget the idea of taking it to the car wash, as hand washing it yourself has many benefits. Not only will you save the money that you would otherwise have spent on the car wash and do your bit to help the environment, you also get to stretch. You have to reach over the car roof, bend and work your muscles. These are muscles that you generally don't use if you work in a sedentary office environment. In the case of washing the car, even going at a nice, gentle pace, it is not a race. After all, you will still be burning 150 kilocalories per hour. 13. Do you have kids, or does a family member who lives relatively nearby have a family? Do them a favor by walking the kids to the park for a gentle game of whatever takes your fancy: soccer, baseball, cricket, tennis. It really does not matter a great deal what sport it is. The point is that it is good for all of you on both a physical and a spiritual level. It costs nothing and it will give you a great appetite into the bargain. 14. Getting there even quicker. Perhaps walking is not for you, so here is an alternative. The next time that you jump in the car, point it at the bicycle shop and buy yourself a bike. As a method of getting from point A to point B, cycling has almost everything going for it, and very few downsides. For a start, cycling is terrific exercise, as well as being challenging, sociable and a whole heap of fun. It is environmentally friendly. There are no pollutants emitted when you use pedal power. It uses all of the major muscle groups in the lower half of the body, and it gives your heart an excellent workout too. For the many people who cannot do other sports like jogging because of the impact and pressure such a sport places on their joints, cycling is ideal. Because the bicycle supports most of the weight of your body, the impact on your joints is significantly reduced while you are on your bike, so cycling is something that almost anyone can do. It burns calories and helps to reduce the fat levels in your body too, so if you are interested in losing weight while enjoying yourself, cycling would definitely be a sport to consider. Another advantage of cycling is that most of us can already do it, so there is no additional special training required. This can be an advantage compared to other forms of exercise where training is needed, because the very idea of going through a training program might put you off getting involved in the first place. However, once you know how to ride a bike, it is a case of, once learned, never forgotten. If you want to take up cycling, the first piece of advice is that, as with all forms of exercise, you should start off slowly, especially if you have done literally no exercise in the recent past, and that proviso applies to a large number of people. The next thing you need to do is decide what kind of bike you want. There are many different types available, such as road racing bikes, touring bikes and mountain bikes. What do you plan to do on your bike, and where do you want to cycle? Answer that question, and that will point you in the direction of the type of bicycle that is best for you. Not everyone has access to the same facilities and resources or will use their bicycles for the same purposes, because these factors vary country to country and sometimes area to area. 15. For example, not everyone cycles on the roads, because one of the few downsides of cycling is that it can be quite dangerous to do so in many places, because the standard of car driving and drivers varies so much. In some countries, the UK is a great example, there are an increasing number of cycle paths in some of the most beautiful areas of the countryside, and so you might decide to cycle off-road if you have access to such resources and facilities. This would naturally point you in the direction of a mountain bike rather than a road racing machine. In Japan, it is a common early morning sight to see mother taking 2 kindergarten-aged kids to the school on her bicycle. In this situation, a touring bike is the machine of choice. Everybody will therefore choose their bike according to their specific needs, so try to establish what yours are before you invest in a cycle. Don't be too proud to have a look at second-hand shops when you are searching for a bike either. You will find some surprising bargains, and as an avid second-hand shop browser myself, it is amazing that almost every such shop that I have ever visited seems to have bikes almost permanently in stock. Also, try online resources like Overstock, where new bicycles can be bought at factory clearance prices, as well as auction sites like eBay. Once you have decided to go cycling, then you need to invest in some basic equipment such as an approved safety helmet and suitable lights for your machine, both front and back. Carrying a basic toolkit and a spare inner tube, which you should know how to change, with you is a good idea, and wearing bright and reflective clothing will help you to stay safe, no matter where you are using your bike. At first, stick to cycling on reasonably flat terrain until you have built up some stamina and resistance, and be prepared for very stiff legs the day after your first couple of rides. That tells you that you are working muscles that have not been used for some time, so it is a good thing, although it will not feel like it at the time. Once you have built up from this starting point, then start to include hills and inclines on your chosen cycle routes, as this will increase the work that you have to do while pedaling, and that increases the aerobic benefits of your cycling workout considerably. As mentioned at the beginning of this section, cycling can be a very sociable pastime, and if you want to enjoy your cycling more, why not join a local cycling club? There are plenty of online resources where information about such groups can be found online, such as Cycling England, Bicycle Tours USA and Cycling News. 16 Then there are sites that give lots of general guidance and cycling help, such as the bicycling page of about.com and Why Cycle, which is a UK-based site that is full of good advice and ideas that can be used when cycling anywhere. 17 Swim like a fish. Another excellent low-impact sport that almost anyone can take up is swimming. Swimming is a great exercise that puts minimal stress on your body while working all of the major muscle groups throughout your whole body. Because the weight of your body is always fully supported while by the water while you are swimming, it is an exercise form that has literally no impact on your joints, so it is pretty much ideal for anyone. It is a sport that requires only the most basic of equipment, a swimming costume, obviously, plus goggles to improve your underwater vision and protect your eyes. Some people also prefer to use earplugs while swimming, especially those who are susceptible to ear infections, although this is not strictly necessary. Swimming is a superb all-round aerobic exercise, as it works every muscle in your body. The more swimming, strokes, e.g. breaststroke, backstroke, etc., you know, the more benefit you will get from swimming. This is because the different actions called for by each stroke naturally call upon different muscle groups for their successful application. To get the full benefits of swimming you need to be able to swim, but it is never too late to start learning. Most local swimming pools offer lessons for everyone from the youngest babies right up to adults, so it should not be too difficult to find a place where you can learn, and do not be embarrassed about joining the class. You will certainly not be alone, although, if you are the type who might be shy about this kind of thing, then it should be possible to receive private tuition. Make an effort to set aside a time every week when you can go swimming, and go with friends or even better, your kids, as this will increase the fun of what you are doing considerably. The more fun it is, the less it will seem like real exercise.